Hello and welcome, as it is the 18th day of August 2018. My name is Derek. This is the Money Charts channel. We're like always, all bets, trades, and the like. That's within each's own risk and their own reward. And let's go over Bitcoin and maybe some other altcoins. Well, definitely some other altcoins as well. And we'll do multiple time frames, starting off with the shorter term, or we'll start with a single hour and then keep on moving in larger times. So what we're seeing here on this is a noticeable breakout after a noticeable amount of sideways consolidation for what's really a break above this little resistance and this one here. Just a fantastic move that happened today at 9 a.m. Since then, it has consolidated, although not retesting the original highs in which it established in that of 12,410 via that of the Binance Tether exchange, pretty much all around the same, and lower highing this. But at the same point, we've the support. I could even show. I haven't even looked at the 5-minute. We've had all of this little bit of support here. An attempt this point to break down, didn't do it, and a point here to break down, didn't do it, and now it's attempting now, and it's just in this sideways consolidation within what has been a fantastic run. So a lot of times you get these moves, you could wait a while, but what does this mean on a more long term? Because that's just 1 hour. All these lines, I guess I just drew this. I don't know why I drew those lines. I'm going to remove them. But a lot of this resistance is going back in here, and a monstrously noticeable move is what it is. It's a statement that it's getting above this resistance. 18 average of lows on this time frame, something like this would be very, very important, holding this area. And I think the odds it does it is probably going to be damn good, especially when we take a look at this via that of the daily. And I'm going to show Fibonacci marks after this shortly on the Coinbase exchange. But for now, this is the most beautiful setup. And the probability odds in which Bitcoin has good gains versus losses moving forward, I think moves that to the center of the gains. So here's that situation of getting above the level of resistance that we had. And on the support level, it never ever did break down. It held what was a long sideways range. It was already range bound in here back in the start of June, but we just had statement of breaking it here. It was getting above the 18 highs and a noticeable break on the 27th of July. But what's it done since the 27th of July? Well, not only, this high has been really support, and now that support is long gone. That's days ago, because we haven't been there since. We established this level of resistance and obviously breaking microscopically right now above it, but that's pretty big. And after getting to this before this point, we had all of this just hanging in there within the 18 average of highs. I made a video a few days ago stating it looks like it's probably going to go up soon, and well, so be it. That's what's happening. So fantastic move. Now, when I take a look at this via the Coinbase exchange, which has the Fibonacci lines that I've drawn in, what we have is this level at 12,856, and they usually pierce extra, which is what it did the first two times, really, and I guess the third time it didn't. But here this time, we haven't been there since a while. This is that dysfunctional head and shoulders pattern I talked about, while the breakout on it's just starting its move for, to me, what it looks like. Is this an area of weak resistance? And to a degree, yeah, but it could easily come back down to under 10,000. We could easily come to this level, hit resistance, pierce extra, go to this, pierce extra, and then do its thing and go higher after. That can possibly be the case. But there's a level of potential resistance. And as I was saying during this run in here, it looked like, yeah, the statement on this move on July the 27th is that it's going to make a move to next key level, and the next key level, 12,856. It hasn't gotten there yet. So it sure looks like when I see this breaking out from the 18 average as it is in here, that's what this move higher is going to be going to, that this next leg intended level of resistance should be north of 13,000, because it usually pierces more, and 13,000 is a very weak pierce extra. And the last previous high was 13 good change, like 13.6ish, 13.7, which is just fantastic in that sense. Now let's take a look at this on the weekly term. I'm going to use the Bitstamp exchange for this. And that whole sideways consolidation thing, yada yada, we're in it. As the low would be roughly around here. And the resistance here. Now, originally the support I would have deemed here, and it still is on any possible moves there, but it did congest within this area here, and that's where this exact low happened to hit. So now that this came in after the fact, it's a twice hit level of the support point. It's also one of those many spots where it broke away from, because it broke away from here, it broke away in here, and here, and here, like one of the many spots in the last bull market. And its last correction, its last retracement mode, which is where you have key high, key low, and you go back to where you came from, was from this high to this low. And as it got above this high, you had your little bit of moves, so many higher lows, and then you have a big move. So could the same thing happen? Maybe, but if it did, it'd just be history repeating itself, often rhyming, all that type of yada yada jazz. Because we've established this resistance, and getting it above here, to me, this is most certainly an area for weak resistance where making a move up to it, and sure, it looks like it's going to do it right now. Making a move to this point. Okay, maybe we come back and find support here, get a 2x loss or 50% off. But I would be thinking even could be that would be second possible maybe if it's a sick market, meaning higher low, higher low, higher low, whatever. But it's a potential level of resistance, and given how this is in this sideways consolidation and what has been this spectacular uptrend. I mean, you could have been waiting in here for this to come back here. Oh, good job, it didn't do it. It was weak resistance here, and then yada yada. So if we get a yada yada, we'll get a, well, yeah, I'm not going to say it again. You know what it is. It starts with the Y, ends with the A. It's a fantastic looking setup, especially with what happened before in this, the ultimate failed breakdown. I mean, then you see this move in here. We'll see what happens. Anyway, let's move on to some alts. And I'm going to decide on doing Theta first against Bitcoin. And I don't got much data to work here within the monthly term. But what I do have is good information with what's here. As this big move breaking it above the 18 average of highs, really piercing above previous high. And then how it came back to this point like this. When it came to this high, no, there's no 18, but it obviously didn't hold anything north or south. It didn't hold 2,000. In this case, it didn't even go down to, and I thought it was going to. Obviously, it didn't do it. But we're still having a nice little break away from that 18. That it's gotten above the previous 2 periods resistance. That's a big statement. It's gotten above the fib, which is going to show a lot when we look at this on weekly, daily, and these shorter term time frames. As on the way down from here, the line of 4,000 was new support, and we haven't even seen it since. And by getting above here, it's basically stating that it's got 2 targets, really one to get to this and really the previous high as well. But in a move where you didn't support this, we didn't support here, we resisted it twice. And then supporting the 18 average of lows, and really many opportunities that looked like it was going to go here. It didn't do it. And I've seen a lot of situations where if it looks like a big setup where something should hit a level and it doesn't, quote unquote, obey because like whatever on the numbers and everything. But if it doesn't do such, which it normally does, then that's sometimes like a monster bullish setup that you could be looking at. A reversal setup, opposite direction. And of course, that would be bullish here. And now I'm seeing from the 18 average of lows, it has managed to, with still a rising highs, get above it. Now it's back to it a little bit. What does it mean on the daily? Well, the daily says a lot. No, we didn't support. And that 1919 number, that was just quickly in. It's actually lower than that. So it even pierced above it even a bit more than what it shows. But the situation in which we resist it here, we resist it here, and there's the situation here. I mean, it didn't hit the level, it was a pierce less, which is the rarity. But in such, all of these days where it does strength amongst the highs and then it gets above it on the 10th, it has a nice, decent volatile day after where it trades above and below it, closing above it, and then really staying above it all the time since then now. So now we're seeing a situation, I've talked about this before. If you can see this hold and stay above this level for a significant amount of time. Wow, well, we're starting to see that. Well, now we need to see a bit more than that. What else do we need to see? Well, I see the 18 average of highs is higher than where the price is, or we're within the band now. Okay, great. So what I need to see is I need to see it get above it. And even maybe shorten out the time frame to get even better information for when I'd be confident that this is ready to break out above it, because this still has the potential to be a pierce above resistance. It hasn't really done it and had that much time overall when you consider this time in here. Nothing the greatest of gains, and it's only now supported this now once, and we'll see how this support test does, because all it's done since it's hit this several periods ago is, well, just come up to this point. The reason why this went down, you can say maybe because Bitcoin had to move up, because a lot of the non-high cap coins went down decent against Bitcoin when Bitcoin went up today, with Theta being one. So things like LITECOIN and Bitcoin Cash did really well, actually, considering Bitcoin went up. With that being said, anyway, I want to see, what can I see to give me bullish strength? Well, I had an attempt here. I see an attempt here to break out above on this 20-hour stamp August 16th. It failed. Well, if it can get above it again now, get above this level of resistance, that would be telling me weak resistance here. So most likely that's the time frame. I'd be very confident that Theta could be ready and poised to go up like 10-15% even more from that point further. But I do realize if it fails from this point here, we're talking retracement from this low to this high. And really, a failed break it above here, we could be even talking about making a higher high and lower low to below this level because of the big statement that was being made. I'm not going to predict which of the events that's going to happen, just either or should be the situation, because this is a big, by far, large statement, and just waiting for the message of the market for me would be my best choice. And either way, I'm just going to trade the numbers as I trade this against other coins, and if Theta has a big gain, I'll sell it to buy other coins. And if Theta goes down a bit, well, then I'm going to most likely have great spots to buy. And let's finish it off with LITECOIN against Bitcoin. As I mentioned, the high cap, LITECOIN being one of them, did really well against Bitcoin today, when Bitcoin did really well against the dollar. But I mean, Bitcoin's been getting its ass kicked, of course, or LITECOIN, has been getting its ass kicked against Bitcoin for quite some time now, pretty much for over 2.5 years. And this situation here was an extremely amazing rally, going from 0.007 or the 700 handle to the 1800 handle. And the 1800 handle wasn't that far much lower than those big levels I talked about from 2017 into early 18. But this big decline really, and I can say it's been a big move since then, but I guess it's been even huge since this April, and even maybe more so from this June high. This large decline, going from 173, breaking 100, going to 60, and then even spending a lot of time shangling even at 46 handle. And what have we seen for bullish attempts to break out? Like at least anything of a higher low and then something, which is what we got. Well, back in here, so started 2020, and that move was a failed one. Before that, we had a nice little fast move here, but it looks like something's developing here. We have a situation where we've had multiple hits. I'm sorry about these levels here, but whatever. So lots of support hit. Resistance here. I like how it held and stayed this level. So now can it hold that higher low? And boy, it holds and stays above this key level, and it did make that higher low. But we see how it gets above the highs in here. Now this little bit of congestion in this point. This looks like we got some potential that we could have here. And the spot where maybe even looks right now, I might confidently say that sell-offs are guilty until proven innocent. Another way of defining that is that I wouldn't be surprised if it sells off and make a higher low from the previous one, the 462 handle. And meaning like, yeah, maybe I'd be like, yeah, maybe it can come down to like 500. Pierce below it maybe. And I don't even know if that'll happen. I mean, a more realistic correction might be coming back down at the 515 handle. But it has gotten microscopically above that level. That is something of note. And even in the intraday session today, after this, and it's just making all these nice little higher highs and higher lows in here. But here's a spot where it had a pretty violent correction this morning. Yet it instantly retraced it back. And now we're seeing it holding and staying above it right now, which is a pretty cool, interesting sign. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.